All right, so shoot.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Are you videotaping me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes.
Why do you think art is important in general?
Well, art is extremely important because I think it's really an opportunity for students to express their creativity in a variety of ways. I think it gives people ways to express themselves that are just not necessarily verbal. Although, if you're doing music or that obviously you would use words. Maybe not. So I think it's really a great way to express yourselves.
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the big pieces is I think that art is a really good form of self-expression. It can also be a form of advocacy and a skill-building piece to do creative thinking, collaborative work, problem solving. So, yeah.
As a discipline, education, I think having a variety of ways to educate is useful. The brain has different parts, and you want to work on different parts of the brain. Why is it important in life? I think there's just kind of like something human about art, kind of looking for things for different meaning, looking for different ways to convey messages, convey ideas, and just even appreciate it and relax with good music and things like that.
So, back in my middle school, we didn't have an art program. We didn't have anything really to do with art. We didn't have theater program. We didn't do any shows. We didn't have anything. We didn't have a dance program, nothing. But I was interested in acting at the time in middle school, but I didn't know what to do with this interest because I didn't have a place to go. I didn't know that there were companies that I could join outside of school because I wasn't educated in arts. Did the fall play this year, sophomore year, and I learned so much from that. I keep learning, and I'm so grateful that Notre Dame has art to teach, and we can those who are interested in it can do it because it's so helpful. And I want to study art and theater in college, and I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for arts education in school.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was really, really convinced that I was really not smart, and I just did not like learning things, which is so far from the truth I know now. But at my old school, the information that was being taught in our classes was being presented in a way that I was not processing very well. I'm a very visual and hands-on learner, and it was all lectures and note-taking, and I just could not put the pieces together in my mind. And I felt really, really behind, and I wasn't as smart as my classmates because they were picking up on information a lot faster than I was. And that's why arts education is so important, because it's such a brilliant learning tool for people who do learn with more visual cues and hands-on experiences. And think of how many kids are out there that were probably having the same issues as I was and are thinking that they're really not smart because their educational needs aren't being met. And that's why it's so important.
Did you know that arts and music education programs are mandatory in schools who are among the highest to rank in math and science test scores, like Japan, Hungary, and the Netherlands?
And federal fundings for the arts and humanities rolls in around $250 million a year, while the National Science Foundation is funded around the $5 billion mark. New brain research shows that not only does music improve skills in math and reading, but it also promotes creativity, social development, personal adjustment, and self-worth.
Oh. Did you know low-income students who are highly engaged in the arts are more than twice as likely to graduate from college as their peers with no art education?
Did you know a 2009 survey as part of the Nation's Report Card Arts 2008 report stated that arts education opportunities hasn't changed much in the last decade?
So the Audacity Performing Arts Project is a nonprofit that I've been lucky enough to work with for about 1.5 years now, and essentially in its simplest form, Audacity provides performing arts resources to schools who are lacking in performing arts programs or schools in low-income areas. And if you're interested in this issue and you want to advocate for it, I would highly recommend that you look into volunteering with Audacity, because it's such a special thing to witness firsthand why arts education is so important, because you see the transformation in these children over the span of one show, and just how much confidence they gain in themselves and how they realize what they're capable of doing. And you get to be a part of that. You get to be a part of their journey in realizing that. And that's so, so special. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend you look into volunteering with Audacity.
One of the things I said early on a lot, and I probably should say more about Audacity, is that in the performing arts, we're not interested in creating new artists, right? Arts education isn't about the development or manufacture of new artists. If that were the case, the project would have died 1,000 years ago, right? What we're doing is creating these moments of inspiration, small and large, right? But these moments, right? And it's these moments of education that will, of inspiration, that will fire a lifetime of achievement, right? And it's nonlinear. I started doing theater in 5th or 6th grade, building sets at a local theater company with my father. I think reflecting back on my experience, I think coming out of all those, I mean, I joke about dropping out of high school and being homeless and my drug issues and substance abuse issues, but I think it's, this speaks to the non-linear nature of when you look at benefits for arts education. I think as I kind of turned a corner, right, as I became sort of more self-aware, involved in self-preservation, taking better care of myself, the sort of the inspiration, the motivation came from these experiences, right? When I first, after a brief stint of homelessness and some drug issues for about a year, the first thing I did when I got back to junior college was become involved in tech theater and film classes and stuff like that. The arts where I sort of kick-started and launched off of. So I think on a personal level, it's been kind of a healing foundation.
I think by using a universal language to communicate, the one thing that unifies us as humans in the experience of being in this world is understanding each other through expression. And if we're not integrating arts into education, it's really hard to equip students to be human first. So tapping into that first language of expressing ourselves organically, it opens us up to the potential of being able to communicate and understand each other on a much more empathetic place, of understanding content. Our brain completely, there's science behind it, that our brain opens up the second that art is integrated into a subject. I don't know why it's not a standard in every form of education to integrate arts organically.